My name's Shelby, last name's Dreher. Originally I'm from Fort Nelson, BC, up north, born in the north. Raised in Fort St. John, which is just a little bit south of Fort Nelson.
Yeah.
And I'm a northern BC boy, but went to school at UVic from 2002 to 2007, and then obviously now. In those times I played on the UVic golf team, and used to be a hockey player, and just, yeah. I guess as a person, I'm definitely fair, and I think that's why I like sports so much, because a lot of them are, by the rules, and you got referees that dictate the games and stuff. I'm competitive, but fair competitive, so I really want to do well at stuff, but at honestly playing by the rules. And as a person, I guess I just love being around people and getting to know people, because everyone's different. Everyone has their own values, and everyone has their own likes and dislikes and beliefs. And it's to me, it's so interesting, learning about everyone and how they're all unique. And I guess that relates to me. Everyone's got their own likes and dislikes, but personally, I just love basically all sports in general. I know I have a few favorites, but that part of me just gets me. So definitely oral, listening to conversations and hearing it. If there was a lecture, I benefit more from hearing the prof talk about it rather than seeing it on notes. But I also do learn quite well from writing and reading skills. I'm a bit of a slow reader, but I definitely I would rather hear it first. That's why I like the multimedia tools, because it's nice to see something in writing, and then it's nice to see a picture of it, because then you have a good view of a visual of what happened as well. So to me, I seem to learn better with those types of formats. Basketball, things where you have time to think about what you're going to do, and you have time to psych yourself out and overthink and start playing head games with yourself. That for me it's always been intriguing. And whenever I've played my best golf, my mind has kind of stayed out of the way, and whenever I've played my worst golf, it seems like my mind is very active. And I've read countless books about sports psychology and how it affects your performance in any sport. And for me, that just being a part of the psychology field and just it's not a lot different, sports versus life. It's very similar in the way you think. When you're confident, you're confident, you're able to do it, you're able to step up, have no problem. It's the same way if you're really confident with a course. You study for it and you know the material very well, and you're really confident going to the exam. You get the exam and you nail it. It's the same way when you're playing well with golf. You're practicing tons. You're hitting a lot of good shots. It feels good. You go into the tournament. You're feeling very confident. You do well, right? Because it's all confidence. So to me, just it relates in life. You can take any example. If you're driving, for example, and you haven't driven for a while and you're not very confident behind the wheel. Well, you're probably prone to more mistakes. But when you're confident that you just go behind the wheel and do your thing, that's no problem. So to me, that's why I wanted that field, because it's just amazing how the mind, people get to a certain point in athleticism, and it can only get them so far. From that point on, a lot has to do with the mind. It basically gets you over the top. So yeah. Just try to get them to maybe want to learn a bit more, and even just talk to me and say, hey, that's pretty neat. You want to tell me more about, can you tell me more about why you think this, or why you think that, or why the mind affects has such a role in how you perform. And I think just getting people sort of aware of the topic. And a lot of people play sports recreationally, but when you play competitively, and it's a bit different. You get to some of the highest levels, amateur ranks, and then eventually, if you turn pro in your sport, it's a lot of people that are turning pro basically are in the same boat as you. But what separates the top from the bottom of the pro field is sometimes it's a bit of physique, form, etc. But 99% of the time it's the mind. So when you're trying to get the point across, if I can set some examples up and show people like how the mind has such an effect on how you perform, then I think I'll have done my job. And everyone that I've ever been around has always said it, that like if I just could have got my mind out of the way, I maybe could be in one of the top tours in the world right now. And maybe that's true, but it hasn't happened. It hasn't happened yet, and a lot of that's because of my mind. And so for me, that's the sports psychology thing just has a bit more meaning than just like doing sports psychology because it's interesting. It's actually affected me in the way I've performed and the way I've dealt with stuff on the golf course. So and not just golf. I mean, that can also relate to other sports. So that's the beauty of it. But yeah, for me, that's why it motivates me, because like I've failed. I essentially failed at something that I was really good at, and why did I fail? Well, after I reflected on everything that I've done in the sport and how I've played, and it came down to my mind, and that was the big thing. And some guys have it, some guys don't. And, it's obviously something I'm trying to work on as well as learn. And I think if I work on it as a golfer and I learn it, it'll be beneficial. I'll know it really well.
So I'm going to start with some meaningful quotes. The more I practice, the luckier I get, by Gary Player. This has a lot of significance because what he's basically saying is the more he practices, the better he's getting naturally, and he's going to hit a lot more good shots. The most important shot is the next one. So basically what it means is what's happened has happened, whether it's golf, whether it's hockey, whether it's baseball, whether it's whatever. If you throw a wild pitch and you got the next pitch still to come, so you can't remember what just happened. You got to move on to the next one, because what's done is done. You can't change what happened in the past. And concentration comes out of a combination of confidence and hunger, by Arnold Palmer. So same sort of thing. When you're confident and you're hungry to win, you'll concentrate the most. So, when you're confident, you're not thinking as much, you're just kind of doing it. But if you have the drive and you want to succeed, then you'll be able to do it. Be decisive. A wrong decision is generally less disastrous than an indecision. So what Bernard Longer is stating here is be decisive with what you pick. So if you pick a shot that's a bit risky, you can't be indecisive about it. You just have to get up. Whatever you decide to do, be committed at that time. So if you're going to pass the puck through the middle of the slot, you got to be decisive. That's going to be the pass you're going to make. I never learned anything from a match I won, by Bobby Jones, meaning that if he had a match that he lost, he would go back to the drawing board, reflect, decide what he wanted to work on, and go from. Chris Perry said, "The worst club in my bag is my brain," and that's so true for a lot of golfers, especially professional golfers. They get to the point where they can succeed, and basically they just get in their own way. You play like 5-6 good holes, and you see your name on the leaderboard, and then all of a sudden your brain turns on. You swing your best when you have the fewest things to think about. So basically, keep it simple, and rely on your practice. Rely on your what you've done in your practice sessions and your repetitions. And all right, this is going to lead us into my favorite sports psychologist, and it's Bob Rotella. Dr. Bob Rotella has come up with 10 commandments in his book that he believes if you abide by it, you'll play your best, whether it's golf or any sport. So what we're going to do is here's the list of them, and I'm going to quickly go over a few of my favorites. Play to play great, don't play to play poorly. So when you're playing any sport, you want to play great. Don't be intimidated or show fear, you want to play confident. So basically, when you're playing any sport, you're going out to play well. Like, don't go out just to go through the motions, or you're wasting everyone else's time on your team and your own. Also, players who play to play great understand that good can be the enemy of great. they know that if they get too concerned about not being bad, they might not free themselves up enough to be great. So that's what Bob Rotella says. So basically what that means is if you're not going out to play well, you're not going to play well. So basically you see it all the time. Like you'll see a team, in hockey, let's say, for example, get up let's say 4-1 or something like that. They'll go into the third period in the playoffs and they'll just choke, and the team will come back and score 3 quick goals, tie it up, and then usually that team who has all the momentum will go into overtime and win the game. Same with golf. Like it's well documented. You have a lot of times where a guy will have like a 4 or 5 shot lead, and he'll come in. So he's making a lot of birdies going into the tournament, and when it comes time to go to the final round, all of a sudden he won't be able to make those birdies anymore, which is bizarre. He just played phenomenal golf for 3 rounds of golf, and now all of a sudden it all changes. It doesn't make any sense. So that's kind of a good one. And then lastly, if you continuously make the right choices, you will succeed. So just basically saying, like, if you're thinking clearly, you make the right choices, you get up and you hit the proper shot at heart, and you'll have success. Love the challenge of the day, whatever it may be. So many sports are imperfect and making mistakes will happen. Golfers understand that nobody has ever had a perfect game and probably never will. So that means like the best players in the world understand that you're never going to go out and shoot 18 under par in 18 holes. It just doesn't happen. So you're never going to go shoot 54. You're probably not going to shoot 59. You're even very rarely do you shoot in the low 60s. So there's a reason there's a par on the golf course, and par is very difficult to get for 99.9% of the players of the game. So a lot of people accept the fact that you have those days where you're not going to ever shoot really, really low. You just got to go with what's happening one shot at a time, and you're going to hit bad shots. It's going to happen. You're going to make mistakes. It's going to happen. A lot of the professional sports nowadays are measured by how few of mistakes you make, rather than how many good shots you hit, or how many good pitches you make, or good passes, or etc. And lastly, you can't completely control your golf ball because of elements such as wind, bounces, rain, etc., but you can control your attitude. So that's really important too. Like, things happen. You can't control a bad bounce. Like, you're playing in the NHL rink, you shoot the puck around the boards, it hits one of the stanchions on the glass, bounces out in front of the net right to the opponent, and they score. Get out of results and get into the process. So basically applies to every sport. You keep working hard with attitude, practice, etc., and the results will come. So basically, you're getting out of the results. So for example, if you're playing baseball and you're up 3-2 after the first inning, you got 9 innings to go, or 8 innings to go in a 9-inning game. You can't think about the win. You got to just go out and go through the motions and get into the process. So what are you going to do? You're going to go up. You're going to try to get the next guy out. Your pitcher at the same time is just going to go pitch by pitch. He's going to throw the best pitch that he can possibly pitch. So he's going to throw a fastball. He's going to throw a strike, slider. Where's the catcher wanting him to throw? So they're going to go pitch by pitch. So that's the process. They're not worried about the outcome. Meanwhile, the infielders, the outfielders, they're going to work on trying to get that one batter out. And then when the next batter comes up, then they're going to do the same thing. It's just going to be a rinse and repeat. When you're in the game, or you're in the sport, or you're playing whatever, you can't think of the outcome while you're in the game. You just got to go through the process, and then the results will happen. Here's a little quote from Bob Rotella: "Success comes from patiently and persistently doing the right things over and over." So what he means is just right choices, lots of practice, positive thinking, just keep repeating it over and over and over and over, and then the results come. And then I threw in one here: make goals that start with "I will." For example, I will play to play great, or I will be in a good frame of mind when I hit this shot. I will be committed to this pitch. Believe fully in yourself so you can play freely. So the best athletes in the world are extremely confident in their ability to succeed. So that comes with confidence and lots of practice and training, etc., etc. Confident athletes think about what they want to happen on the course, the playing field, the rink, etc. So they're seeing what they want to do beforehand. They're kind of visualizing. They're seeing their they know that they're talented. They know they got the skills, so they're going to go out and they're going to do it. Play confidently, and the body will perform positively and gracefully. If you get up and you know you're one of the best basketball players in the world, and you have a free throw shot, well, your chances are you're a good free throw shooter, so you're probably going to have the attitude that you're going to make it. And when you have that confidence, you have more positive energy going through your body, and it's easier to make the shot. Well, if you go in scared, your arm's quivering, and you're thinking about missing, your heart's beating fast, you're not breathing properly, and it's a very relevant thing. Like it's so easy to do. Like I've been there, done it. It's tough when you're under pressure and things are going the wrong way. It's easy to be not confident. And lastly, confidence is not arrogance. So when you're confident, you don't have to be arrogant. I know a couple guys that I've played with in my life that are very good players, and they're very mad. They get mad at themselves when they hit bad shots. They're outside of their realm. They're talking with other people. They're not arrogant. They know they're confident. See where you want the ball to go before every shot. Visualizing your sport is a key to success. So see it, you're probably gonna hit it more times than not. If you see failure, you're probably going to fail. And actually, I watched a thing on the Golf Channel one time about Nick Faldo. He was doing a playing lesson with one of the Golf Channel commentators, and he had a great quote. If someone gets up to a tee and says, "I don't want to hit it in that sand trap," well, when you say that, you're visualizing it going into the sand trap because you're talking about the guy's ball going into the sand trap. So what you're actually doing is you're visualizing that shot. So chances are you're going to get up and you're going to hit that shot. That's why people always say, "Oh yeah, the water's a magnet," or that bunker's a magnet. Well, it's a magnet because that's all you see. So, and then you're in your head, you're thinking you don't want to hit it in there, but you're seeing yourself hitting it in there. So then you're actually visualizing it. So you're actually better off to say, "I don't want to hit it on the green," or "I don't want to hit it in the fairway," because you actually see that shot. So if you say that, then you actually visualize it. The brain doesn't understand the word no. Point here, nothing distracts the best athletes. They see the target and they want the object, golf ball, baseball, basketball, puck, football, soccer ball, etc., to go there. So what they're seeing is, a soccer player is, he's got a kick and he just can see the ball curving around the defender. Like, they can do that and they want to do that. And they do it because they can see it. They visualize it. They get up and they do it. Same with baseball. The pitcher wants to throw a fastball right down the inside corner. The catcher helps him out by putting his glove there, and the pitcher can visualize it and just get up and do it. Same with football. Like when they call the plays beforehand, they're kind of visualizing it. They're saying, okay, the running back's going to cut in on this route, this pattern. He's going to hit him with this kind of throw, and they're being very specific, but they're stating it and visualizing it. And this comment by Bob Bertel is really good. The more you're consumed with your target, the more your instincts and subconscious will help you find it. So basically what you're trying to do is become more of an athlete. And, like it happens with a lot of static sports. If you look at the target more rather than think about mechanics and how you're going to throw the dart or hit the shot with your golf club, or throw the ball or shoot the ball with basketball, whatever. If you're just looking at the ball going in the hoop or on the bullseye or on the green or whatever, chances are you're going to hit the shot more times than if you were to think about mechanics. So when you get consumed about the target, be decisive, committed, and clear. Don't doubt what you're doing. If you're going to hit driver on a par 4 and you got it in your hands, don't doubt you have driver. Just say, okay, I have driver in my hand. I'm going to make the best swing I possibly can do. Or don't doubt you should be not taking the 3-point shot, or don't doubt that you should not be, hitting a drop shot in badminton. Trust what you're trying to achieve. So, if you got a game plan, go with it, and trust that you have the ability to do it. If you can trust yourself, then chances are your ability can take over and you can hit those shots. Working on and thinking of mechanics during competition will lead to failure. That's what practice is for. So basically, when you're talking about the fine-tuned mechanics, so you should have your pitching arm here, or with your basketball free throw, you should have your arm extending to the target like that when you shoot the ball. You can't do that. You can't think of that stuff. You just got to see the basketball going in the hoop, and you got to just see the ball going over the plate in the way you want it. You can't think about mechanics when you're in the game. And that's exactly what practice is for. So you're on the driving range, you're trying shots, you're trying things, you're working on some drills, you're doing this, you're doing that. When it's time to play the game or it's time to go into competition, you got to forget all that. You just got to do what you've practiced. You got to take what you've practiced and insert. A committed bad decision will lead to better results than an indecisive good decision. So we touched on this earlier, and it's basically just saying, you can make a lot of bad decisions if you're committed to hitting the shot. And you're decisive about that shot, and it could be a bad decision, but whatever. You'll get a lot better results than an indecisive good decision. So like, you can be set up at the flag, have the right club, this is the right shot for sure, but if you're indecisive about it, you're not going to make a nice positive swing and hit the right shot that you're looking to hit.
So far, my ePortfolio has been interesting. I mean, I've never heard of the ePortfolio until this class, so I like it. I like what it stands. I like how it can be like an online sort of resume. You can include what you've done. It can be like a resume format. You can have it so that you're showing them what you've learned or what you want to show them as like a study. You can kind of include like yourself and what you're trying to show them. There's so many ways you can take your ePortfolio. That to me is the coolest part. And there's no right or wrong answer. That's the coolest part. You can have tons of multimedia stuff. You can have YouTube videos, Prezi, PowerPoint, Excel spreadsheet, whatever you need to do to get the point across. And I think it's awesome. But in terms of feedback, yeah, I'd love to hear it, because sometimes what I think isn't what everyone else thinks. And that's what I was saying earlier when I meet people and give everyone a fair shot right when I first meet them. And I love how everyone's different. That's awesome. Different cultural backgrounds, different this, different that. People see things differently, and you see your ePortfolio as like, yeah, this is going to be the best thing ever. And then someone else reads it and they say, well, this isn't that good. I think he should have done this, 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 and this. So if you got suggestions, I'd totally love to hear it.